Day's finally here. Been waiting for a long time. You can see from the writing, it came from afar. It's very, very cool. So my lovely wife is going to go ahead and record the grand opening here. The big reveal. All right. This is very unique. Oh my God. That is beautiful. What? Look at the beauty of that neck. Made in Japan. Super Roller 700. Their top of the line 70 Strat. This thing is from 1977, the year I was born. All original. And look at the condition that it's in. Other than a little bit of little mar up and stuff like that, I mean, this thing is in killer shape. Testing the electronics on this, I actually think that there's something going on with maybe the wiring here. As you can hear, there's some grounding issues or something like that, but all the pickups work. But you can see that the volume here, let's keep all the knobs and tones up like this. Second position, third position, fourth position. But this, something's going on here. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is with that. So when I tap on the pickup versus, oh wow. Yeah, there's definitely a grounding issue somewhere. So this is probably, whoever wired this, I think what happened, so you see when I turn both of these down, nothing happened. So I think that the tone's disengaged in some way, because even when I do this, these still don't work. So they don't work in any position. So I think something happened with the ground, because obviously now that I'm touching this, it doesn't do it on this pickup very much, or even in these two positions. Yep, so there's some kind of a grounding issue, and I got to figure that out. But even in this position, it's got a really, really nice tone. And we're just going through a little old school crappy crate amp, but it works and does a good job. But you know, just universally, look at this, beautiful. I believe this is an ash body. The frets themselves are not, they're probably just the standard little, you know, thin frets. I mean, I don't think I'm going to really do very much to this guitar because it's in such great condition. I mean, there's a couple of issues here and there, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and polish it up, clean it, see what we can get out of it. And I've got replacement saddles for this that are the Tusk type saddles. They're just way better, and I hate these little, you know, hex things that stick out, because when you're playing, they just, you know, just kind of cut into your hand. But I will try this one first, completely stock, just to see what it sounds like, give it a review. And so I got to go ahead and just take off these strings and figure out what the electronics are doing. Not sure exactly what is going on here, but after looking at all the components, I don't see anything really wrong. It doesn't look like they took the tones out of the circuit in any way. They look like they are wired exactly the same. So maybe it's just the switch is really, really dirty. Maybe it's failing or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but sorry about that. But I have to take off the switch because I don't see anything. It doesn't look like this thing has been modified. It looks like the original arrangement, and you can see this, you got black, blue, and red as far as the different leads. So these are, you know, very specific, you know, to how they were put in. I can't guarantee there's a Yamaha pickups, but I would be betting they are. but there's nothing on there to tell me for any kind of certainty or fact. But if you look at the condition and then the color, there's like zero corrosion on these things. So I don't know if these are replacement pickups, but I doubt they are. They look like they're pretty authentic, but they do also in some cases, and this, you know, again, this for 44 years old. So I'm trying to flip this over. I mean, this guitar was either just kept in a case forever, but normally you see some kind of rust or corrosion or something like that. And these covers look like they're aged, but I'm wondering if the covers are original, but the pickups aren't. It's just a question. I have no proof either way, but I mean, this guitar is in immaculate shape, so I have no real reason to think that these are not stock pickups. Looks like everything was exactly tied together. Doesn't look like there was any mods to it, so it's just maybe this thing is dirty. So I'll have to kind of investigate that and see if I can't figure out what the deal is, and then we'll just go through and clean everything again. Blown away by this thing. Everything is brand new. I mean, there's no corrosion, man. It's like those springs have zero corrosion, and look at this body. I mean, that is gorgeous. It's a one-piece body. That's unbelievable. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's two pieces or something like that. It looks like there might be this line right here. But no. Yeah, I guess maybe it is a two-piece. I don't know. It looks like there's a dead straight line that goes all the way up around here, so it does look like there's possibly a two-piece body, but this was supposed to be the top of the line. It was supposed to be, you know, and you can see why, but it's unbelievable. It's actually gorgeous. I got to go through and figure out what. There is no issues with the ground. Man, look at this tail. This thing is huge. It's normally never that thick. That's probably why this thing's going to have insane amount of sustain. So, anyways, I did look at this. This was gummed up like really, really, really bad. So I just took an electronic cleaner with a brush on it and scrubbed it out, and then used a can of air to blow it out. But it was really, really gunky. So maybe that solved something, but I can't really tell yet. It's kind of hard, but I got to get these strings out of here first. These things seem like they're kind of jammed in there. Like they're stuck. That one came out. But we'll go one by one and just pull these things out carefully. Try not to scratch anything. And then go ahead and clean up this bridge as well. Things out, I actually had to jam a small screwdriver through here and then pound it like this just to get those things out. They would have been stuck. So hopefully the bigger ball ends will actually prevent that from happening. So I don't know if that was just whatever it was, but anyways, so let's take a tight. I mean, this has got some pretty good weight to it, so I think it's a good block. So I'm going to keep this block itself, but I am going to replace these saddles because, again, these type of things I just cannot stand when you're playing and stuff like that. They just cut into you. So it's just old tech. It's cool, but I don't think that these things are going to make a big difference. They look like they're fairly robust, but you know, they're not the prettiest thing in the world. So I am going to take all those things out and apart. But I did want to say, you know, other than a little bit of dust, I mean, look at the screws. Look at the condition of these things. I swear, I did not polish these things at all. And look at the springs. You wouldn't tell me that those didn't just come out of a brand new package. I mean, they're absolutely perfect. So, again, I think this guitar was purchased, played a little bit, or maybe it was played quite a bit. I mean, it's got some dings on it and everything like that, but it wasn't banged or smashed or anything like that. But, you know, there's just a couple of boo-boos here and there. But as far as the quality of the overall instrument, I got to tell you, I am thoroughly impressed. I cannot believe in how good the quality of this thing stayed. So I'm just going to take all these pieces and just kind of wrap them up. Make sure I detail what they're from. And then I'm going to clean this block, replace the saddles. And that'll be that. Next I'll go ahead and take off the neck. See what's under the neck pocket, reveal that one. That'll be cool. Let's go ahead and take off the back plate. Again, no cracking, no popping. I could have sworn, I mean, if this guitar, if you told me it was manufactured maybe 2 years ago, I'd absolutely believe you. 100%. But this absolutely was not manufactured a year ago. There's not a single bit of corrosion on this thing. I'm just completely shocked. Look at these screws. Floored. Absolutely floored. All right, so let's take that off. Special on the back. You see, this is like the original color. It's the same. Normally you'd see a huge difference in tint by there, but nope, not at all. All right, so here's the moment we've been all waiting for. Let's carefully separate this. All right, let's see what we got underneath. All right. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. However, it's gorgeous. I mean, normally you'd see a huge discoloration right here where this would be hidden. That's nanners. This thing had to have lived in a case for 40 years. Had to have. I mean, there's the proof in the serial number if you want to look it up for yourself. So the number is, let me get the angle right. It's really hard to see. There we go. Damn it. I'll just have to read it to you. It's like 002195. 002195. Wow. So these things are a little loose, and they get loose. That's the only thing that I've found. Tuners aren't bad. They do skip around a little bit, so let's figure that out. Let's put this body down for just a second, and let's take a look at what is causing. Let's see if this is the right size. It's not. Oh, these are tiny nuts. All right. Sorry, we're not even looking at it. So these nuts right here are really, really small. And then I think, well, I've got to take off the screw. Duh. Let's see how much this actually makes a difference. I don't know if this has any kind of stabilizer screw in it. Nope. No stabilizer screw, so that's why they can wing around a little bit. Is that actually plastic on top of that? Can't tell if that's metal or if it's almost looks like plastic. Anyways, no, I think it's just a metal. But anyways, Yamaha Japan. Now these are, like I said, they're not bad tuners, but looks like it even says stamped in Japan right there. And this says number 4. So let's take all these things off. I think, for all intents and purposes, I think this is going to be an absolutely wicked instrument. But I may want to change these tuners out on the nut as well. Just get the action exactly where I want it. And unfortunately, because this is a neck that has the truss rod here, you have a couple of issues that you always have to deal with these type of guitars to get it perfect. First, when you string it up, you got to take the neck off. every single time to get to this, which means you have to loosen the strings all the way down to where they're dead. And then from there, you just basically tighten it back up, adjust the truss rod, and then that's it. You're good, hopefully. If you kind of know the adjustments, you can do a quarter turn, half turn, whatever. And then, of course, you're changing, if this had 9s on it all its life, which it probably did, and it goes to 10s, it's probably going to take a couple of weeks for it to finally adjust, especially since it was in Japan, then to Russia, then to here in Georgia. The humidity and the climates are very, very different. So a lot of those things are going to be, factors in how long it's going to take the neck to set and all that stuff. So here is our tuners. I don't know if they actually had any. Okay, so this says 2. And I assume what this means is that they're staggered. Like this one is a 4. So I'm not sure exactly. I don't see any huge difference between that. The holes at the top are not any different. They're not higher. I'm not exactly sure why there's a 2 and then there's a 4 and then these guys say 3. One. Huh. Okay, so if those were 1s, 3s, and 4s, I mean, I don't know what that correlation is. So let's try to take those off. I'm sorry I did not take those off in the order and show them, but I do know for a fact that the first one, which is the 6th string, low E, that one had a 4 on it. So I don't think that the numbers themselves represent the strings themselves. So I just took this one off. Now this is funny. This did have a 2 on it, okay? And that was for the B string, which would be the 2nd string. So I'm not sure if one of these is ever going to have a 6 on it. And if it has a 6, then okay, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. So there you go. So this is the, okay, well, I don't think it makes any difference. This just says Japan 4. And I think that might just mean that this came off of the machine that stamped it. So if they ever had a problem with the mechanics of the machine, they'd know that this particular faulty product came off of that 4th machine. So I think that's maybe what that means. So I don't see any huge difference between a 1, a 3, a 4. They all look exactly the same to me. Oh, wait. Nope. No, there is a difference. I discovered the difference. If this is it or this is faulty, I'm not sure. Okay, this is interesting. Check this out. I've never been able to do this before. Look at that. What? When have you ever been able to do that with any kind of tuner? That's crazy. I've always had problems lubricating tuners. Look at that. And so you can just screw this in, and you just use, it's got these little holes in there to tighten it. That is great. Look at that. Totally feels like a different tuner now. Oh, wow. Now that's actually kind of unique and cool. All right, so what I just discovered is the more loose this thing is, now see, this is really easy to turn. I turn this even a little bit harder, even with my fingers, this becomes really stiff. And so you can adjust the feel of how you like your tuners if you like them like really easy to turn. That's harder to turn. That's pretty stiff too, but you can adjust that. What? See, this one's real easy to turn. But if I do this a little bit more, now it's more stiff. Okay. So there's another cool thing about Yamaha right there that most people would never ever known. And that's the 70s technology that they probably were just like, hey, you know, Bill came up with it at the end of the table, the Asian Bill. And Probably not got credit for it. So, anyways, but look at the logo. That is ridiculously beautiful. It's in perfect condition. That is wild. So yeah, even though I got to crank these things down a little bit, I don't think I'm going to replace the tuners now because they are unique and very cool. I just need to clean them up. So that's the fretboard now, and then we'll get into it, clean it and polish it, and rock and roll. Unclean tuner. Clean tuner. I mean, all I had to do. There ain't no steel wool needed. It just took me a couple of seconds just to sit there and wipe this thing down. It comes out like a mirror. It's a little gunky on this side. Looks like it had some tape or something. That's the only corrosive part on there. Let me just kind of see if I can just work it off. Yeah, it's coming right off. It may be just dead skin, which is most likely what happens exactly with these guitars, is they just have dead skin on them. Yeah, it's kind of peeling out. If I use a little tiny piece of this, there's a little piece of steel wool here. Let's get that off. Yeah. Totally comes right off. Yeah, see? Perfect. Looked disgusting before, but that's all it was. It's just a little bit of dead skin that was just on there for eons. And about 2 minutes in, perfect condition tuner. So again, all that crud that you see, it's the only gross part about the guitar. And that's simple, you know. Most people never clean their tuners or clean their guitar in general, but just take a little bit of this. Don't wipe hard, all it is just going to be abrasive. Just to help get that junk off. Get around some of the edges. And there you have it. And the rest of you just polish. Look at this. Absolutely rad. Again, the only thing I was a little bit still I don't know anything about is those numbers. But I think my idea about the machine stamp is probably pretty sound. So we'll just finish cleaning up these tuners and that'll be that. Perfect. All shined up, brand new. It's actually very impressive. But again, there's nothing not impressive about this guitar, so got all those pieces. Those are all clean. Don't have to do very much with these. Screws are pretty much immaculate. Just gotta clean off a little bit of the top of this, and that's it. It's done. No real messy restore. I mean, normally this would take a few days for me to do, just because of all the corrosion and steel wool and putting it in a bath of WD-40 and all that stuff. But no, these things are pretty much going to be spotless. Very short amount of time, which is cool because I'm going to get onto that neck and polish those frets. And they are skinny frets. I don't typically play on those type of things, but I am definitely not going to risk cracking that finish to get those frets out of there just because I want thicker frets, because that finish is badass. So I'm just going to get this all done. These last little plates. These little guys. Again, they just a little wipe off, that's it. Pretty amazing. Ow, that hurts. Cool. Alright, I'm sure you don't want to see me polishing wheels. So this is what's happening here. This is the pickup that didn't work. So I just tried to put the two connection points here and here. It's completely disconnected, and I get absolutely nothing. It's set to 20K. Come over here to these. You can see we're getting 544 there, and we're getting like a 4 something over here. Yeah, 45. So obviously this method works for it, and these are completely out of the loop. And the funny thing is it was giving me a little bit of output, and I tried it from the top just to see if there would be anything. And the pickup, I mean, again, this one's from 1977. It doesn't look like, I mean, it looks brand new. So, I mean, this guitar is in unbelievable shape, but that's the issue I'm having with this particular pickup. So I really don't want to change these pickups. I want to keep this guitar completely stock. That's why I was so interested in the beginning. But yeah, I don't see how there's any broken leads. But I guess what I'll do is I'll just resolder these 2 points and see if it'll make any difference.
My name is John Durantz. I own Odessa Pickups in Arma, Kansas, and I build and custom hand scatter wind, mainly 6-string, passive guitar pickups. And I also do pickup repairs and rewinds. I was recently contacted by Chris Schmidt about a 77 or 78 Yamaha SR 700 single coil neck pickup that was dead. And I checked it out. The leads were all connected good and everything. I went ahead and tried unwinding a little bit and reattaching. Couldn't find any breaks, no problems anywhere. Well, told him we're going to have to do a rewind on this. So I cut the coil off. This isn't the original bobbin. This is just for demonstration purposes. This is one of my own. But this is the coil that came off of his pickup. And what I found is normally the pole magnets, these are Alnico magnets, you wrap them with a tape. In this case, it was the old Captain tape. But what I'd found when I got into it, I noticed from the outside that the poles were all rusted around the tops of them. And so I figured that rust had got down inside, not knowing if there was any tape or not, and cut it open. And what I found was right here in this area, the tape was actually folded over, part of the pole was exposed, and there was rust on the inside here. The coil was right against that, unprotected, and it had ate into the coil itself. So, say normally it's just the tape is wrapped around there to protect it from there. It's wound, leads put on, wax potted, and ready to go. There was just a slight mistake at the factory that allowed a small area to be exposed. What I found, this pickup was originally hand wound because it was irregularly shaped as I was trying to uncoil some to see if I could find the break, and a machine wound would not be irregularly shaped like that. That only comes from hand winding. So a pretty unique pickup in itself.